We are inside a 2014 Nissan GTR and we're about to turn it on. So we're gonna press the start button here, but first we have to press the brake. And let's put up the garage door. Before we go, let me put my seatbelt on. And shut the garage door. As you can see in the mirror, it's shutting. So on the multifunctional display, or for shorter MFD, I have the settings for coolant temperature, engine temperature, engine oil pressure, boost, transmission oil temperature, and transmission oil pressure. Am I looking at all of them? No. I almost never look at boost. I usually don't look at pressure temperatures. Oh. I basically look at the coolant and the engine oil to make sure they're not in the red area, but they never are. But one thing I learned from my father is to always look at the coolant temperature, because if you have some sort of a problem, blown gasket and whatnot, that's gonna tell you to turn off the engine or blow it. It has happened to him. So, and he saw the temperature skyrocket and he just turned off the car. Actually, it happened to me one time too, on my Ford Contour, 1996 Ford Contour. So we're gonna go get some milk, but I figured I'll film with my new camera just for testing it. So Nissan GTR, I can honestly say, regardless of money, this is the car that I like the most. You can put in front of me McLarens, you can put in front of me Ferraris, you can put in front of me Porsches, Bugatti, Lamborghini. Some of them are nice cars, don't get me wrong. I really love the interior and the exterior of the Ferrari 488. I think it's unbelievable. I wouldn't say quality, but the fit and finish of that car is great. Do I love the reliability of Ferraris? No. Have I ever had a Ferrari? No. But you know, I go on YouTube and I read the experiences of owners, and even the modern Ferraris, there's just constant little things going wrong. And if you're out of warranty, you know, every little thing is gonna cost you, $1,000. Of course, everybody says it's worth the experience, it's worth the ownership. If you have the money, it's just amazing. True. But I've been spoiled. I've had a GTR since for the last 6 years now. First got it 2011. Sold it. I got a 2014, which I'm driving right now. So I've been spoiled because, let's see, did I have any problems? I don't remember having any problem whatsoever. There was one time that I went for a scheduled maintenance at the dealer, and they found some cap. I think it was the rear, something to do with the rear differential, maybe. It was missing the cap, so they had to order it, and I had to wait for a couple of days. Cover under warranty, even though it's not really the Nissan's fault that the cap was missing. It's probably, I don't know, either the previous service if I got to put it on, or I went over some bump or whatnot. I don't really know, but anyway, they fixed it under warranty. Nissan has been treating me really, really good, even though, there hasn't really been a problem. But my point is exactly that. There has not been any problem throughout the last 6 years of me owning, actually it's 7 years, 2010. So I got my first GTR April 2010. So 7 years, 0 problems. I guess the only time that I had an unscheduled visit was when I ran over some plywood that had nails, and I had to buy 2 new tires. So I had to go to the dealer to install them. Other than that, there has not been any problem whatsoever. And I just love that. I just love to just have a super nice car that I like, and you just get in and you drive. Of course, every 6,000 miles you have to take it in, and they do a whole bunch of servicing to it, but nothing major. Just oil, filters, the usual. So yeah, I don't plan on changing that. So I'm not getting a BMW. I'm not getting a Ferrari. I'm just not into the constant nagging of the car. Oh yeah, fix this, fix that. I like low maintenance. I like low maintenance women, and I like low maintenance cars. And I mean, sure, it might be exciting to drive a Ferrari, but if I could ever get over the higher maintenance of a Ferrari, I have one other problem. I've also been spoiled with four-wheel drive. My 2011 GTR was my first all-wheel drive car, and even though I never drive it in the snow, do I really have a reason for an all-wheel drive car? Well, I mean, honestly, if I want to answer honestly, no. I mean, I can probably drive a rear-wheel drive car. But let me tell you my experience I think it was last February, or no, this February, just about 6 months ago. There was a very minor event near where I live, and not much snow, okay, but it was just the right conditions, and it froze on the street. And I had this great idea to get on my Lexus to drive just 5 miles to the grocery store, 6 miles to the grocery store. And that 6-mile trip that usually takes me 15 minutes to go and 15 minutes to come back, I was on the road for like 4 hours. It was a nightmare. And even the slightest hills that you take, you don't even think about them. I mean, seriously, do you think about going up a tiny hill? Like right now, I'm going slightly downhill, and shortly the road slopes up just a tiny bit. Well, when it's literally ice down, and your car will not move, actually anything other than just flat is a problem. You go down, you worry about sliding. You go up, the car is not going anywhere. So it was a nightmare, and I was thinking to myself, never ever again either front or rear-wheel drive. All these people that had front or rear-wheel drive, they were just driving so gingerly, and I don't know how other people made it home, but I just barely made it. I was thinking in my head what path to take so I have the least traffic and the least elevation change, and I was fortunate, I made it. But one thing I hate is I do not like driving when there's the conditions are not good. Like even when it's raining really hard, I just don't like driving, because even if you know what you're doing and everything is perfect with your car and you're driving, you don't know what other people are doing. So it's just better to just drive when the conditions are perfect, sunny, and even then you can have problems, but at least the probabilities are in your favor. So yeah, Ferraris being rear-wheel drive, it's a little bit of a problem for me, because I know if I got a 488, that thing has 600 horsepower just going to 2 wheels. So you gotta be really cognizant of that and really careful all the time. You forget about that and you do something stupid, you can get yourself in a lot of trouble. Now, the GTR, can you get yourself in trouble? Of course you can. The thing has 545 horsepower. You can get in a lot of trouble, but if you're sensible, the threshold that you have to exceed for getting into trouble, at least traction-wise, is very high. I have stomped on the gas, on the accelerator, while it's downpouring, and I'm not exaggerating. The car does not slip. The tires just grip and you go. It has really fat tires, obviously. I think the fronts are 255 and the rears are 285. On my old one, I had from the factory, it came with all weather. I believe they're all weather Dunlops, and this one has the summer Dunlops, round flats. But it doesn't matter, because even in my old one with the all weather ones, you stomp on it in the rain and it just goes. I've stomped on it during turns, it just goes. I've done some stupid stuff, taking turns too fast. One time I had so I'll tell you this. One time I was taking an entry ramp to the highway, but I took it way too fast. I'm talking not just 20 miles an hour more than normal driving. I was maybe doing 70 on a ramp, and normally you take it doing 30, 35. So it was one of those unwinding, like at the beginning it's tight, but then it gets wider and wider, the radius. So I thought I was gonna go off, but then I'm not quite sure what happened. Either torque vectoring or selective, braking. Whatever the four-wheel drive, the four-wheel drive of the GTR is very sophisticated. So whatever it did, it kept me on the road, and ever since I thought, it's a very clever system, but the laws of physics are laws of physics. And one time I did not exceed the laws of physics, but I'm sure if I was going, let's say, 5 miles more than what I was doing that time, maybe there was not enough reserve traction to keep me on the road. So sure, you can get in trouble with the GTR, but my point is with a four-wheel drive car, you have a huge margin of safety as far as getting yourself into trouble when you are pressing the car hard, because instead of 2 tires you have 4 tires that the traction can go to from all the torque. So as much as I love the look of Ferrari, and as much as I maybe I could overlook the reliability, but four-wheel drive, no. So really my only other option, let me turn off the car, put it in park. See, already everything is warm. 170 is actually 170 is kind of, if it's not too hot outside. So my only other option that I would like is let me put a minute here. So the only other realistic option is the Porsche 911 Turbo S, which is pretty much the top dog Porsche, unless you're gonna go with the Porsche Spider, which is, what is it? I think it's over $1 million. A, I cannot afford it. B, even if I could afford it, it's not really a daily driver car. So the Porsche 911 Turbo S is definitely more expensive than the GTR. It's I think it's $185 before you put anything extra in it. But I think it already has standards, a few things. It has quite a few goodies that are standard. So maybe you don't have to spend a lot of money to, maybe with 190 you can put any other option you want. So you should be good. Any other cars that would be an option? See, after driving a GTR, there's a lot of parameters that must be satisfied. So the car has to have a DCT. I'm not driving an automatic and I'm not driving a manual. So that's one parameter. Number 2, it has to be 4-wheel drive. Number 3, it has to be turbocharged. I have nothing against normally aspirated engines, but I love the torque that comes with a turbocharged car, and I love that rush of power. I also like the miles per gallon that I'm getting. If I don't press the GTR on the highway, I'm getting 25. Even the slightest provocation, though, your mileage drops significantly. So I average about 18 and a half, somewhere there. So so let's sit here for a minute. Yeah, so also a turbocharged car, the engine is smaller, which means it weighs less. So not only it's more efficient, but also it weighs a little bit less. The block is smaller usually. The GTR is 3.8 liters. To get equivalent performance from a normal aspirated engine, you probably need, I would say, at least, what, 4.5, 5 liters. Which, you're probably talking about at least, I don't know, 50, maybe 100 pounds more. Maybe not 100, but at least 50 pounds more. So it's 50 pounds you don't want at that specific location up front, unless the engine is in the rear, but that's another story. So anyway, I'm starting to sweat here, it's hot, so let's continue after we're done.